Hey guys, how's it going? Leek here. So this video is going to be covering all the challenge card bosses for the Brawlers Guild. If you want a video on how to do the rank 1 through 8 bosses, I'll put a link to that in the description. But this video is going to cover all the challenge card bosses and I'm going to go over the mechanics. I'm also going to put all the abilities on the screen. And these bosses are a little more difficult than the ranks 1 through 8 bosses, so there are more mechanics to worry about and they do have a lot of health as well. So anyway, let's get straight into it. So we're going to start off with Akama. This guy doesn't have too many abilities and he's pretty straightforward. So one thing he does is he spawns Spirit Wolves. You don't really need to target these, but you can just passively kill them because they don't have much health and they don't really do any damage. Some other things that he does is that he puts a buff on himself called Shadow Strikes, and there's a couple ways to deal with it. You can either kite him during Shadow Strikes since you'll take a lot of damage, or you can like purge it or tranquilizing shot it or anything you can do to dispel it. And then lastly, you want to interrupt the chain lightnings. And that's pretty much it for Akama. He doesn't do that much. The chain lightnings don't do that much damage to you, so if they go off, it's not really the end of the world. And that's pretty much it. So Blackmange is probably the toughest boss out of all of them in the Brawlers Guild, and I even had a few wipes to him myself. So he really only has one mechanic, but it is a pass-fail mechanic, so if you mess this mechanic up, you will instantly die. He also has a lot of HP and is a very tight DPS check, and you can even see me hit in rage at the end of this fight. So basically, this boss will have a bunch of cannons on the end of the arena, with lit fuses heading towards the cannon. And when that fuse reaches the cannon will fire, and if you're in the path of that cannon, you will instantly die. So the strategy here is to constantly be moving between fuses before they explode. So what I did was I watched for the fuse I was about to reach a cannon, and then I moved to that cannon right after it fired. This gave me enough time to plant and look for the next cannon to move to. So it might take you a couple tries to get a feel for it, but it worked pretty well for me. And it's just a game of watching the fuses and making sure you're not in the path of the cannon when it fires. This boss also does a charge, so you want to watch out for the charge because it'll knock you up into the air, and when you're in the air, you might get hit by a cannon. But besides this, it's just a pretty hard DPS check, so bring full consumables, make sure you have Lust or Heroism, or like Bloodlust Drums if you can't Lust yourself, and then just pump. I'll just let this fight play out so you can watch me do it and see how it goes throughout the end of the fight.
Orb.
So with Blind Hero, it's just a quick reaction check of dodging all his abilities, and you can even see here right at the beginning I get hit by one of them. So what you want to do is that you want to run out of Deadly Whirl, which is a circular dodge around the boss, and then for Blind Strike and Swift Strike, you want to either run through the boss or just strafe to the side. Both of those are frontals, so you just want to go through it as quickly as you see it. If you're a caster, you can also just outrange it, but I recommend just standing in melee and just simply running through the boss because it's the easiest way to deal with that. And then once you see Deadly Whirl, make sure you run out, because unless you have a lot of gear, it's just going to one-shot you. But that's it for Blind Hero. Just dodge all his abilities, run out of Deadly Whirl, and then run through the boss for Blind Strike and Swift Strike. So up next is Dark Summoner, and this is a pretty fun boss. So this guy starts off invulnerable, and to make him vulnerable, you need to kill the ghosts. So for this boss, you have a light shining out of you, and it's like a frontal cone light. And you need to find the ghosts in the arena and shine the light on them to make them take damage. So once you shine the light on them, you kill the ghost, and then the boss becomes vulnerable. So after killing a ghost, you can damage the boss. Once his vulnerability wears off, you need to attack another ghost and kill that ghost so you can actually damage the boss again. And if these ghosts reach you and they melee you, they do a lot of damage. So you need to make sure they don't actually reach you. And that's it for this boss. Just keep shining the light on the ghosts, kill the ghosts, make the boss vulnerable, and attack him when he has that vulnerable debuff up. So Deeken is pretty straightforward. The entire arena will be electrified, and there will periodically be safe spots so you can run through. So if there's electricity coming near you, just run through the safe spot. The boss also does an ability called Mechano Kick, and if this goes off, it'll knock you back. So just interrupt the boss, or if you don't have a kick, make sure your back is in a way that you don't get knocked into electricity. And that's pretty much it. Run through the safe spots and don't get knocked into electricity. So next up is Dominika, and this boss is pretty straightforward. Whenever you damage this boss, it'll spawn an image, and basically the images will also do damage to you, but they don't do very much damage, so I just passively cleaved them down throughout the fight. The boss also periodically casts Arcane Barrage, so you want to kick that, but it also doesn't do that much damage to you, so kick it if you can, but it's not a big deal if you go off. And that's pretty much it for this boss. Just cleave the ads down and then kick any cast that you can. So up next is Dual Mode Robot. He has 2 attack modes depending on where you're standing. If you're in melee range, he'll be in Assault mode, and if you're far away from him, he'll be in Artillery mode. So while he's in one mode, he'll constantly be gaining stacks of a buff that increases his damage. So when those stacks get high, it might get too unbearable, so you'll need to run out or run in to swap his modes. And that's basically it. I never swapped his modes here. I just popped a defensive when his stacks got high, and I just killed him that way. And that works too. He doesn't have that much health, and he doesn't really do that much damage either. So this is another pretty straightforward boss. The main thing that this boss does is he casts these dark zones on the ground, which you can see right there is just like a purple circle, and you want to avoid standing in it because it'll do damage to you, it'll make you do less damage, and it'll also make you move really slowly. But besides that, all you have to do is interrupt dark barrages, and then avoid standing near the zones because the boss can also death grip you into a dark zone, and then you'll get the debuff as well. I end up getting the debuff right here, but it doesn't really matter because the boss just dies anyway, and that's it for him. So up next we have the dual boss Fran and Riddoh. So you want to kill Riddoh first here. If you kill Fran first, then Riddoh will enrage, and he'll be enraged for the rest of the fight. And he'll be doing a lot of extra damage if he enrages, so you want to avoid that. Additionally, these bosses will throw mines out, and these mines make a C formation. So to get out of those mines, you just run through the opening in the sea, and that's going to be the safe spot every single time. Whenever those mines spawn, you want to get out immediately, because you might get rooted, and while you're rooted, you might get hit by dynamite. So Fran will be throwing dynamite throughout the fight, and it's those red circles on the ground. So if you're in that red circle when the dynamite goes off, it does a good chunk of damage. It probably won't kill you, but it will do a lot of damage, so you want to avoid standing in them. Once you kill Riddoh, you'll have Fran dismount. And when Fran dismounts, he'll basically be spam throwing dynamite at you. And this dynamite, again, it won't kill you, but it will do a lot of damage. And you can even see right here, like, I'm going to take a lot of damage, but it doesn't kill me, so I instantly pot just to be safe. But that's pretty much it. Once you kill Riddoh, Fran will just be spam throwing dynamite at you, and then you can kill him from here, and that's it for this boss. So Ix is a very simple boss, and he only has a single mechanic. He has a mechanic called Devastating Thrust, which is just a frontal. So all you want to do for this fight is stand near the center of the boss, and as soon as you see him casting Devastating Thrust, run through the boss to the other side. If this frontal hits you, it won't kill you, but it'll almost kill you. So make sure you don't get hit. And that's pretty much it for Ix. Just run through the boss for the frontals, and then you'll eventually kill him. So for Johnny Awesome, you want to make sure that the boss's pet is standing between you and the boss. So Johnny Awesome will cast this ability called Volley, and it's a green circle on the ground that just does a lot of damage to you if you're standing in it. He also has this ability called Power Shot, and you want to make sure this hits the pet and kills it, which is why you want the pet standing between you and the boss. When the pet dies, he'll cast Revive Pet, and while he's casting Revive Pet, the boss takes 100% increased extra damage. And then you basically just pop cooldowns and kill him, and that's it for Johnny Awesome. So Kirrawk is a pretty fun boss. So this boss will spawn tornadoes throughout the fight, and basically you can kite these tornadoes around because they'll be chasing you. What you want to do is you want to kite this tornado into the boss because it can also hit him. And when it hits the boss, it does a lot of damage to him and it throws him into the air. If you get hit by the tornado though, the boss will cast a huge spell onto you, which does a lot of damage to you. And that's pretty much it for this boss. Like, kick the lightning bolts, kite the tornadoes into the boss, and then he dies pretty quickly if you just do that. So Leona will frequently cast Wrath, which you can just interrupt. The boss also casts an ability called Solar Beam, which will silence you while you're standing in it, so you want to make sure you move out of that. Lastly, the boss casts something called Earth Living Seed, which I think you can stun during it, but basically this seed will spawn ads, and the ads don't really have that much health or do that much damage to you, so you can also just passively cleave them down, which is what I did during this fight. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole fight. You can CC Seeds, you can kick Wrath, and then move out of Solar Beam, and that's pretty much the whole fight, and the boss will just die pretty quickly. So Mama Stormstout has 2 main mechanics to worry about. The first thing is that she casts an ability called Smash Ton. So this will put a circle on the ground that does damage to you while you're standing in it, but it also creates a safe zone. The next mechanic is this wave right here. So this wave will kill you if you're not standing inside Safe Ton. So you just want to make sure that as soon as the boss casts that Safe Ton, you go and stand inside it. Additionally, these basilisks will spawn throughout the fight. They don't really do anything, they just do some damage to you, so you can just like passively cleave them down throughout the fight. But besides that, stand inside the safe zone during the wave, passively cleave the ads down, and that's it for this boss. So I did Millie Watt entirely wrong, but I still killed the boss on my first try, so maybe the mechanics just don't matter at all. So basically the boss has this cast called Electric Dynamite, which is kickable, but you shouldn't kick it. When that cast goes off, it'll put an electric zone on the ground. And basically, you want to use this electric zone to avoid getting polymorphed. The boss has a spell called Mega Fantastic Discombobomorphinator, and if that cast goes off, you'll get polymorphed, and you'll probably die right after it. So basically, if you're in that electric zone, you won't get polymorphed when the cast finishes. And that's it for this boss. Run inside the electric zones when you're getting Discombobomorphinated, and then that's it. You can also CC the boss if you want, but you don't have to. So whenever this boss moves, he'll leave a pool of poison behind him, and if he runs through the poison, he'll get a damage buff. So basically, you just want to run around the room slowly and paint the entire room with poison and make sure the boss doesn't run through it. And that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. It's like playing Snake. So Probuskus is pretty straightforward. He only has 2 abilities, but he also has a very short Enrage, and you can see him Enrage right at the end here. So the first is Torrent, and it's just a spell that you need to kick. The other ability is called Rain Dance. So Rain Dance just puts some blue circles on the ground that you need to run out of, because if you're standing inside it, it does a lot of damage. And that's it for this boss. Kick Torrent, dodge Rain Dance, and then the boss should die. So Sanoriak is pretty straightforward. He has a lot of spells you can interrupt. So you can interrupt Pyroblast, Fireball, or Flame Buffet. I would kick Pyroblast just because it puts a dot on you, but as long as you kick something, you'll be fine. Additionally, he has this spell called Firewall. So you want to run out of Firewall because those ticks actually do a lot of damage to you. So make sure you're not standing in Firewall. And that is it for this boss. Now we have a Seagull, and all this thing does is spam Peck. So you can see here I get hit by Peck. It doesn't kill me, but it does do a lot of damage and it disorients me. But to dodge Peck, all you have to do is run to the side or run straight through the boss, because it seems like the Peck is just a frontal. So basically just sidestep the Peck, and then that's it for this boss. Like you can see here, I just keep sidestepping it over and over again, and all the boss does is recast it. And that's it. So all Thog Hammerspace does is throw his hammers on the ground, and if you run over these hammers, it'll do damage to you. But that's the only thing this boss does, so just don't run over the hammers and you should be able to kill the boss pretty easily. So Unguloxx has no mechanics at all. He just does a lot of damage to you. Like you can see here, my pet dies at one point and I have to res him. But basically all you gotta do is kill him before he kills you. So that means like rotating defensives, CCing the boss, or maybe even kiting if you have to. But the boss doesn't do anything, just kill him, use defensives and CCs properly, and the boss should die. So the main thing for Vian the Volatile is that you want to make sure you dodge his fire lines. The fire lines are a frontal, so you can just run through the boss or you can sidestep him to dodge it. The boss also has a cast called Lava Burst, which is kickable, so you want to make sure you kick that as much as you can to avoid taking damage. Lastly, he has this ability called Volatile Flames, which is this red flame orb on the ground. So if you run through it, you'll take damage, but if the boss runs through it, he'll also get a buff. So make sure the boss doesn't run through it, make sure you dodge it, and make sure you're dodging the fire lines. And that's it for this boss. So Dungeon Master Vishas only has 2 abilities. The first thing is that you want to kick Naughty Secrets, because it'll put a big buff on the boss. The next thing is that he has an ability called Heated Pokers, and while Heated Pokers is active, the boss will do a lot of extra damage with his attacks. So you either want to kite it out like I am here, or you can just run into the boss and pop a defensive, because it won't do too much damage if you have a defensive up. But that's it for this boss. So Yikkan Izu will spawn ads throughout the fight, and when you kill these ads, it puts a stacking buff on the boss. When the boss hits 5 stacks of this buff, it'll enrage, so you want to make sure you don't enrage the boss by killing the ads too close to each other. The boss also has this disorienting shriek cast, so you want to make sure you interrupt it or else you're going to get disoriented. But that's the whole fight. Don't kill the ads too close to each other, but I mean, I kill them all right here, and then the boss enrages, but the boss doesn't even do that much damage while it's enraged. So if you enrage the boss on accident, just pop a defensive and you'll be fine. And that's it for this boss. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you've got any questions about the Brawlers Guild fights, feel free to leave a comment. I'll be around to answer them, and I'll answer any questions you got. So if you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.